Good morning, everyone. I hope this is working. It is a good morning. I hope it's a good one for you. We are, I got to turn my sound on this. Yay. Okay, I got sound. We're getting ready to start day 2 of testimony for the Geroge Kelly trial, Arizona versus Geroge Kelly. He's being accused of killing an illegal immigrant on his property in Arizona. So court has already started. We're going to go ahead and hop in. I'm going to double check and make sure the sound is okay. So I'm going to mute my mic so you can't hear it. And I will be clicking on the video. Thank you for joining me. I'm Ada K. Brown. Look forward to enjoying the day together.
Suggestion from the government is we have one witness. So the next witness this afternoon will clarify the issue. Because I think there's some terminology used with Agent Marcel, checkpoint at the port of entry. So that the inquiry is explain what those two things are. So we have a witness who will be coming up to explain that.
Well, it sounds like whoever wrote this question knows what the difference is. Yeah, so that's why I'm not sure. I'm kind of thinking maybe the question has something to do with what's the legal significance maybe between what happens. I'm not really sure. This whole question.
I mean, if you just take what is being asked, they ask for clarification of the difference in definition. So I think we should, as suggested by the state, get those two things clarified. What's the difference? And then see if another question comes from that. That would be my recommendation to the court.
Yeah, I mean, you can clarify it, but it sounds like the person knows what it is. We might ask the juror to clarify the question. So, all right, we'll just do it. Then the judicial system communicated to me the state has put out a request regarding testimony of DRR. What is it? Right. So when is DRR going to testify?
Daniel Ramirez will be testifying first this morning. And the issue the state wants to address with the court is his image being uploaded for mass consumption to the public. And so he is a
first question I asked, why are we hearing this a minute before this guy testified?
No, we're just concerned about his
Y'all, the mics are not that great in this courtroom. I do have it gained up as much as I possibly can on my end.
Broadcast. We just want to address the court. So if the court doesn't grant the issue for us, we live with it. If the court does, the victim's image will not be uploaded and the camera can't pan over to the victim.
So what is the request?
Not to upload the victim's image.
For what reason?
For security reasons.
What's the concern? Security concern.
Well, obviously, Your Honor, he is a victim of a high-profile case. He travels back and forth to the port of entry, where his identity will be now known both on this side and also on the Mexican side. So we're just concerned about his image being broadcasted to the world. And so that's what our concern is for his security. So we're bringing it up because he's concerned about it, and so we want to make sure we address that with the court prior to him testifying.
Is the defense in any position?
Yes, Judge. We believe these proceedings should be public. We're all here. It's obviously a high-profile case. There is no specifically articulated security concern other than this is an alleged victim in a high-profile case. Frankly, I don't see what the danger is. Nobody knows where this person lives. Nobody knows when he's coming across. The only time he comes across to come to court, he's escorted by law enforcement. So I don't see any safety concern, and we object to any part of these proceedings being closed to the public. And I think not allowing people to see this witness is essentially closing this to the public.
This is the kind of thing that I have to look at and consider and bring it up the minute before the gentleman is supposed to testify does not allow me to do that. I understand the concerns for his safety.
Whoops, he's going to get a hand smack.
And but this is something that I need to look at. So, is there any alternative? Does he have to go first? Because, I don't have any opportunity to
He's springing something on the judge last minute, and the judge is definitely not happy about it.
Just wanted to present this to his concern for his safety. So we're fine proceeding as is. I just want to bring it to the court's attention. If the court is reluctant to rule on it because it's in the moment decision, the state's ready to proceed with him as the first witness.
Is he worried because he is a smuggler of human and possibly drugs? And he might get his face on TV and blow his business so he can't get back into this country illegally again? I wonder what they promised him to get him to testify. My humble opinion. Okay, that'll give us time to catch up. That'll give us time to catch up. Okay. I am going to mute this while there's just no court there. So apparently, by the way, I'm eating oatmeal. Isn't that a beautiful bowl? It is hard for me to read. Poland. It's from Poland. Handcrafted from Poland. Yes, I'm eating oatmeal. So what's happening here is you have a witness who crossed the border, I'm going to say allegedly, crossed the border illegally, was on George Kelly's, he likes to be called Allen, and it's hard for me, Mr. Allen's property illegally, and he very well may have been the killer. We don't know. There was a shot fired that Mr. Kelly had heard, hence what, started all this. This guy could have been the guy that killed the gentleman, the victim. We don't know. We don't have a clue. Oh, y'all, ask me about the other bowl. This is a bowl that's made by the same company. It's all hand-painted, handcrafted. I love this stuff. Very expensive, though. So it's usually a birthday, Christmas gift. And by the way, everybody who wished me happy birthday yesterday, thank you so much. It was a good birthday. Sometimes, you just want a nice, peaceful birthday, and that's what I got. I got to spend it online with you guys here. So yay. Yay. So I understand that the gentleman may want his privacy protected because he's been involved in illegal activity, but when you come to a court and you testify, the prosecution should know better than to lay this on the judge a day before the person's going to testify. I think that is absolutely well within the judge's rights to be frustrated. Do you know what I did not do yesterday? Was my birthday devotional reading. Let's see what it says while we're waiting. I need to do today too. It was a risk taker. Psalms 119, verse 105. The world is a lamp to guide my feet and a light for my path. There will be opportunities that arise that might be surprising to us. We might suddenly be presented with something that feels kind of terrifying. We view it as an opportunity because we see the benefit in it somewhere along the way. We understand that it could be as much as a gift to our lives as a potentially difficult ride or transition before the gift appears. Stepping through the unknown takes courage, and courage isn't always readily available. Through the power of prayer, the wrestling with the opportunity, positive and negatives, hopefully we come to the point where our hearts feel the peace we've been looking for, that makes the task of accepting the opportunity much easier. You still may not feel brave but about the decision, but you can trust in the peace in your heart. That alone takes courage. God, with every new opportunity that arises, help me to seek you for wisdom and peace in how to approach it. You know where I should go after, what I should go after and what I should leave alone. I trust in your peace to guide me. This is Be Still and Know. It's a wonderful daily devotional that I absolutely love. And today's was Mark 16:4-6. When they looked up, they saw the stone, which was large and had been rolled away. You are looking for Jesus of Nazareth, who was crucified. He is risen. He is not here. See the place where they laid him. So we are preparing for Easter. Most of us know that Jesus was raised from the dead, whether we hear it, whether we know it to be a part of the story of Jesus, but have we ever really meditated on the truth of that statement? Jesus was raised from the dead. Certainly he can be trusted with our lives. Many times we doubt God's love for us. We cast him aside and try to do all things ourselves. We doubt his truth and his healing power. We don't think we can do everything through his strength. Yet, in the same breath, we easily accept that Jesus died and rose again. If he could do that, our trials can be overcome. Thank you for the reminder, Jesus, that the stone was rolled away. I believe it. I believe in all your promises are true. You love me. I can trust you with all the details that I have been trying to control. So those are just my daily readings. I forgot to do my birthday one because there was a lot going on. There was a lot going on. So that 5 minutes is taking a little longer than the 5 minutes, but that's okay. That's okay. And I'm glad to see captions were on today. They weren't on yesterday. The mic system is not the best in this court. We have some Spanish translators in the court. You will see them usually sitting back here behind the TV with a little binders over their mouths. It helps keep the sound close to the mic and they don't have to speak so loud. Oh, Lord have mercy. So if you are having a birthday today, happy birthday. And do you know that I got tagged by copyrights for the birthday music I played yesterday? And it was copyright-free birthday music. I was not happy about that. So, I just dinged. I'm sorry for dinging. I am so sorry for dinging.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, everybody. Happy birthday to you.
So I don't get copyright. They released the video, of course, but it's a pain in the tush to sit here and have to challenge those copyright. And I don't know. The pains of doing this. I also want to say that everyone or most of everyone is aware of the situation with the Baltimore Bridge. That they're still looking for bodies. I don't know all the details. I can't pull it all up right now, but I just want to say from here in Kerrville, Texas, we send our prayers and condolences to everybody who's lost a family member. For all those who were injured in the incident, we send prayers of healing. And it's a tragedy, but That's one thing about our nation. When tragedy happens, we do pull together, no matter what our differences are. So, with that, prayers, and I hope that they can get through the recovery process of everything as quickly as possible so the families can have closure. I pray that the bridge reconstruction will be fast and swift as possible and safe as possible so they can get their so they can rebuild that bridge for the city. It's going to be difficult for people getting around for quite some time. Everything's going to have to be rerouted, I think, through the downtown area. That's going to be a nightmare. Yes, I am eating oatmeal, the healthy kind. What I really want, I can't have. So, I'm looking for questions. Why is it doing that? I'll do it this way. I shall do it this way. I'm going to look at comments. Oh, that's my video. I would love someone to comment on my video. I would absolutely love someone to comment on my video. I don't know what is going on. I find it interesting, the shirts that these people are wearing. I don't know if this cute little Hispanic lady is a part of a team. Here's a guy. He has a similar shirt with the white and the collar. I don't know who they are. I don't know if they're with Law and Crime. They very well may be. I'm trying to figure out who they are, and I don't know who they are. Let's go back here. Oh, I think tomorrow is going to be an afternoon only, so I'll be streaming. And I think Friday is going to be their regular day, whatever that is. And then next week, there's no court next week. The jury has the week off for the is that what I want? For their spring break. Their spring break is in April. And so with that, okay, here's some more comments. Let me read some comments. If the judge needs to seek legal advice, who advises him? Every courthouse has a lead judge. He may not be seeking just advice. He may be actually looking at law. This is a very unique question. Anyone knows if yesterday's stream is available? I'm only finding a short segment. Yes, it is. It is available. You can actually go to, this is really cool. You can go to the county's courthouse and actually get the live video where there are 4 different camera angles and watch yesterday's camera feeds in the courtroom, and you get all angles. But the only thing you don't get is what's put up on the screen. All right, Ken Mercer. I think the only thing that matters here legally is whether the guy was on the property or not. Each state has a little different laws about property and what you can and can't do as far as defense. Oh, here comes the judge. We're going to turn the volume up now.
On the record show counsel and the defendant, the jury is absent.
So the defendant is not in the room for this.
The issue really breaks down to the court performing a balancing test, balancing the privacy and security interests of the victim, trying to evaluate that and weigh that against the public's right to know, to view,
Mm-hmm.
and to observe the proceedings. This is an open proceeding. If
Mhm.
anyone from the public can come in, sit here, and watch the witness testify. Obviously, the witness is not going to be obscured in any way as he's testifying here in open court. That's because the jury has to be able to see his face.
I thought that's the way that was going to go.
The jury evaluates credibility. So anyone can come into court and watch the gentleman testify and see his face in person. But obviously, then recording it, streaming it live, and making it available for posterity to whoever wants to see it is quantitative. But I need to have an assessment of what the actual security risks are to this witness. I think a generalized statement that he's concerned for his security isn't going to do it, particularly in the context of I'm just learning about this at the point in time when the gentleman wants to testify. If anything happened to him, and this case has been pending for over a year now, well over a year. I mean, has anything happened to him during the 15 months or so that this case has been pending? He's also been
No.
identified as a witness. His identity is known as a public record. Has anything gone on that gives him any particular concerns that you can articulate as to the city?
No, Your Honor.
Hasn't received any threats from anyone?
That hasn't been expressed to the government, Your Honor. Nothing specific. It was his demeanor and his want to have his obscure as possible. We're conveying that because he feels like there is a security risk, and it's our duty to inform the court of his concerns. That's what we did.
I understand, but has he articulated to anything beyond that, any specific reasons why he has that concern?
No, Your Honor.
Given that, balance that versus.
That's right. One of the comments.
Any member of the public can come in here and see him. I'm not hearing any articulated specific security risks, dangers that the witness is able to express. It's a matter of, course, discretion. He's a Mexican citizen, and if he's over in Mexico and something happens or he has any concerns for safety and security, that's the Mexican government's obligation to provide protection.
That's their responsibility.
The court finds that the interests of the public, the right to know, observe, review these proceedings is very important. It's how the public evaluates the fairness due process is being afforded to all parties. All right, let's bring in the jury.
Okay, y'all. I want to pause this for a quick hot minute. The point is he wasn't concerned for his safety or security or of anybody else's when he was allegedly helping bring illegals across the border, or he himself was an illegal coming across the border, cutting the fence and going through someone else's property. And he didn't have any concerns about breaking the law in his safety. At that point, he was willing to take that risk. And if he's worried about his safety now, that very well maybe could be because maybe he was the one who was the coyote, or maybe he was carrying drugs. Who knows? Nobody knows. But at this point, he's in the U.S. courts. He's agreed to testify. He's got to be public. Thank you very much, Judge. Want to fast forward it? Push play. Get ready to take my notes. For those of you who know me, know that I'm a watercolorist. And for my birthday, a sweet, kind soul gave me, look at that, all those watercolors. Some of them are plain, some of them are a little shiny or metallic. So thank you very much.
Morning again. We started a little late this morning. In court with the lawyers dealing with legal issues. We do have one question from one of the jurors concerning seeking clarification of the difference between a checkpoint and a port of entry. I discussed it with the lawyers. Here again, the lawyers tell me there are additional witnesses that will be present here in court to really testify to that and explain that difference. But I want to be sure Is that use? No, you're the new journal. I want to make sure I understand the question, or did you want, are you interested in more of an explanation of like, if there's a legal significance?
Not really, Your Honor, but I believe one of the attorneys was making reference to the checkpoint. And to me, the checkpoint is the border patrol checkpoints located on the highway.
Yes,
And
they
that
are.
was slightly confusing to me. I believe she meant the international port of entry, like the Ticocini, and by using the word.
I know what you're referring to, and I think I actually caught that myself. If we're thinking about the same thing, and I think we are. I think the witness just inverted the two things in their testimony, because I actually remember that specifically also. I think the witness said one when the witness actually had to say the other. But we will have additional witnesses here, and if it's appropriate, you want to ask another question, please do so.
I just noticed my header is wrong. I'm going to close the headline down. Okay, for those of you who do not know, you have a point of entry right on the border, and then within 100 miles, they actually have checkpoints that are, I'm going to pause it, they actually have on the highways checkpoints where everybody has to pull over. They have all these little x-ray cameras and lights, and you pull through and they look at your driver's license. They glance in your car. If they're suspicious, so they'll do random pulls where you're pulled aside and they sit there and have your car inspected. They have drug dogs, the whole 9 yards. And that is within so many miles on the highway. Now, if you live in, like I live in Texas, if I go to Hidalgo County or McAllen or Laredo, and I'm coming from San Antonio and I go south, I don't have a problem. Now, when I come back north on I-10, I mean, not I-10, I-10's east and west, but come back north on the highway, I will go through a checkpoint. Everybody has to. It's not whether you left the country or not. It doesn't matter. If you're anywhere between the point of entry and that checkpoint coming north, everybody goes through it. That's a good question. If you don't live in that area, you don't know those information. That's something you're not familiar with. Okay. This is a Spanish-speaking gentleman.
Sir, if you come over here, please, and see.
I hope I can handle this because I'm deaf without my hearing aids and special ears.
Just so you know, so there's no misunderstanding. Court interpreter tells me these headphones are what the witness is wearing, so you can better hear.
We're going to be using a translator. This might be a little interesting for me. Let's see what I can catch. Thank God for the captioning.
Good morning. May I call you Daniel? Sir.
Yes.
For the record, though, can you state your whole name for us?
This is going to be slow. Daniel.
Can you spell the last names for the record?
Duh.
That's fine.
I didn't catch it.
Okay. Let me walk the jury through a little bit about who you are. Is that okay?
Yes.
Just for the record, you've never testified other than a previous hearing in this case. This is first time in front of a jury.
Sí.
Y nomás para aclarar una cosa, usted nunca ha testificado antes, excepto en una otra audiencia anterior a esta, pero usted nunca ha estado testificando frente a un jurado.
No.
No.
A little nervous?
Está un poquito nervioso.
No, sí.
No, I'm fine.
Okay. Let's talk about, Daniel, how old are you?
Vamos a ver, Daniel, ¿qué edad tienes?
43.
43?
43. Where are you from, Daniel?
Daniel, ¿de dónde es? I am from Honduras.
Is that where you were born?
¿Es donde usted nació? Yes.
And how long did you live in Honduras?
¿Cuánto tiempo vivió usted en Honduras? 13 years.
13 years. And where'd you go after living in Honduras?
I think he's the gentleman that saw the potential shooting.
Or why'd you go to Mexico?
Yeah, ¿qué fue? Looking for the American dream.
So your hope was to go to Mexico and then go to the United States?
Entonces lo que usted pretendía era ir a México para después ir a los Estados Unidos. Yes.
What's so good about the United States versus Honduras or Mexico?
Porque es mejor en los Estados Unidos o México que Honduras.
Porque la pobreza en Honduras es muy baja, no hay trabajo.
Because of poverty and there's not a lot of work in Honduras. Like
You mentioned it. You mentioned poverty. Are you a man of resources? Do you have money?
Usted menciona la pobreza. ¿Usted es un hombre con dinero? ¿Tiene dinero?
No.
No.
Do you have any land?
¿Tiene tierra?
No.
No.
Any cars?
¿Carro?
No.
No.
He's
Jewelry?
poor.
¿Joyería? No.
Where do you currently live in Mexico?
¿Dónde vive usted ahorita en México?
Not, I'm sorry, I mean,
En the village of Mascareña.
Okay.
was it your hope to work in the United States to send money back to family?
I wonder if they're going to give him citizenship. Just saying. Sorry, guys. My computer screen went. Ooh, had to fix it.
Right up front with you. Do you work for a drug organization?
Daniel, voy a ser muy directo con usted. Usted trabaja para una organización.
Where's the captioning?
¿De drogas?
No.
No.
Do you work for the cartel?
¿Usted trabaja para un cartel?
No.
No.
Do you work to help smuggle guns or
Would he
drugs
admit it?
into the United States?
No, he would not admit that in court.
No.
Not saying he does. I'm just saying
In this instance, this incident happened last year, January of last year. Correct?
Este incidente sucedió el año pasado, en enero del año pasado, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Yes.
This wasn't the first time you tried to come to the United States, is it?
Pero esa no fue la primera vez que usted intentó cruzar a los Estados Unidos, ¿verdad?
No.
No.
How many times have you tried to come into the United States for what you call the American dream? How many times?
¿Cuántas veces ha intentado cruzar usted a los Estados Unidos para conseguir lo que usted llama el sueño americano?
Yo voy
¿Cuántas veces?
cada día. Sí.
From 8 to 10 times.
So several times.
Varias veces.
Sí.
Yes.
And each time, were you successful?
Y cada una de las veces usted tuvo. No.
got deported.
Why weren't you successful?
¿Por qué no
who's the word they?
¿Quiénes me agarraban?
Migración.
Immigration.
U.S. immigration?
Migración americana.
Sí.
Yes.
And when you crossed, or did you have to pay anything to cross into the United States?
So who did you hire to help you? If you spent that much money trying to get across, why don't you put it in coming in legally?
Crossing fee?
Es justo decir que es así como la cuota para cruzar.
Sí.
Yes.
And do you know approximately how much money you paid as a crossing fee?
¿Y sabe usted aproximadamente la cantidad de dinero que usted pagó como la cuota de cruzada?
Sí.
Yes.
Well, how much money was that?
¿Cuánto dinero pagó?
$2,500.
$2,500.
That's a lot of money to you, right?
Es mucho dinero para usted, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Yes.
Did it take you a long time to save up that money to come to the United States?
Y le tomó mucho dinero ahorrar ese dinero para poder cruzar a los Estados Unidos.
Sí.
Yes.
A lot of hard work?
Mucho trabajo. A lot.
What kind of work did you do in Mexico to earn that kind of money to come to the United States?
¿A qué se dedicaba en México para poder ganar ese dinero para venir a para pagar la cuota para venir?
En el campo, en el tiempo, que lo pudiera probar.
I don't know who's coughing.
Stores, whatever work was available.
And Daniel, I forgot to ask you this question because it's probably an appropriate time to ask.
Y Daniel, se me olvidó hacerle esta pregunta. Creo que ahorita es el momento más apropiado para hacerlo.
How much education do you have?
¿Qué tanta escuela tiene?
Al sexto grado.
Sixth grade.
Can you read or write English?
¿Usted sabe leer o escribir en inglés?
No.
No.
And obviously, can you speak English?
Obviamente sabe hablar inglés.
No.
No.
Can you read and write Spanish?
¿Sabe leer y escribir en español? En Spanish, yes.
Now going back to the fee that you paid to come to the United States.
Ahora regresando al monto que usted pagó para cruzar a los Estados Unidos.
And you said you crossed 8 to 10 times.
Y usted dijo que había cruzado como 8 o 10 veces.
Sí.
Yes.
You didn't have to pay. Did you have to pay $2,500 per time?
Usted tuvo que pagar los $2,500 cada una de esas veces.
Por vez, sí.
Each time, yes.
Did they?
That-
Give you a scenario. If you
A lot
paid
of times it's more than
$2,500
that.
And you got caught. Did you have to pay the next time to cross?
Le voy a dar un ejemplo. Si usted pagó los $2,500 para cruzar y en eso lo agarran, la próxima vez tiene que volver a pagar esta cantidad.
2 veces, no.
Okay, so sometimes he had to pay, sometimes he didn't.
Okay, so they gave you what we call. Do you understand the term credit?
That's $2,500 6 to 8 times. That's a lot of money, y'all, that he could have spent doing
That's
something
fine.
else.
That's fine. But when you paid and you got caught, you didn't necessarily have to pay the very next time, did you?
Entonces, cuando pagó el oro,
Depends on who the coyote was.
Okay. And not every single time you had money to pay the fee, right? Not every single time.
y no
Oh.
siempre, cada una de las veces, no siempre usted tenía dinero para pagar. No.
One time you carried drugs into the United States as your fee.
Una de las veces usted cruzó con drogas como parte de
Okay, we have a problem here, y'all. He said he was not working for the cartel, nor did he ever carry drugs into the United States. Now we're getting into him carrying drugs into the United States and getting caught once. It's leading. Overruled the objection. I'm sorry, y'all. He's not a credible witness.
For bringing
He just lied under oath.
Did you enter a plea deal with the United States?
I shall return.
And that's the one time you're talking about.
So he carried drugs into the U.S. one time.
Do you
But
remember
he
when
said
that
earlier
was?
he never did.
The year?
2014.
2014.
And let's talk about close in time to this event.
Ahora vamos a hablar sobre el tiempo más cerca a lo que sucedió. Okay?
Okay.
Guys, I'm going to
Walk
pop
us
back.
through your
I had a little
decision
technical
process.
thing going on.
Yes.
Do you remember when that was? The year?
2014.
2014.
And let's talk about close in time to this event.
Ahora vamos a hablar sobre el tiempo más cerca a lo que sucedió. Okay?
Okay. Walk us through your decision process about coming into the United States this time around.
Explíquenos un poquito sobre cómo pensó usted las cosas para llegar a lo que usted pensó.
Pues tenía que trabajar y estar trabajando y ir a trabajar, venía para Pili y conocí a Gabriel.
Come here.
Yeah, well, I had to work. I had been working, and I wanted to cross and go to Phoenix, and that's when I met Gabriel.
I'm gonna show you a picture. Before I do, I want to go back and what was the drug that you brought into the United States in 2014?
Le voy a enseñar una foto, pero antes de eso, dígame por favor, qué droga usó usted en el 2014? Marijuana.
I'm gonna show you a photograph just for
Uh,
the attorneys and for you.
I don't know, y'all. I'm very hesitant to really put a lot of credibility at this point, but we'll see.
118.
El elemento de cargo 11A.
See?
You see that photo on your screen, Daniel?
¿Usted ve esa foto ahí en la pantalla?
Sí.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm not saying the guy's not being truthful right now, but I have a lot of questions as to how he became a part of this. And he is here illegally 8 to 10 times trying to get in. He got caught in 2014 for carrying marijuana for one of the mules. He said he didn't carry drugs into the U.S. or work for the cartel in the very beginning. I do believe he's scared. I mean, he's definitely nervous. The translator should be translating everything that's being said, and I don't hear her doing that. Is that a vape in his hand? What is in his hand? Oh, it may be the Bluetooth to those here. I don't know. That was interesting. They're trying to figure something out.
It's off. Off. It's not watching through. I think that's where
Captioning is a little off. It's been kind of hard to hear, but I'm glad they have it.
Okay, you see a red restraint to the red.
Yes.
Jury.
Let me just tell you why we go through this process. Okay, so
She needs to interpret that. Translate, excuse me.
Whether or not something can be admitted in evidence is the judge's decision based on whether there's what we call proper foundation, where a witness can say the things that shows that they have some awareness, familiarity, qualifications to talk about.
So they're going to have to ask him
It's not
some
proper for jurors
questions
to
before they
speak
can
on
admit it into
until
evidence.
I decide whether or not to admit it. I may decide not to admit it. If I decide not to admit it in evidence, it doesn't go into evidence. You never see it. You're never supposed to see it. So if you see it, and I decide it's not supposed to go into evidence, it's kind of like unringing the bell. Right? So that's why we do it this way. And this process, when it works, is a more efficient way of doing it. Otherwise, the lawyer's got to show it to him, to them, all of that.
So they're showing it to everybody but the jury, I mean, the prosecution, the defense, and the witness and the judge. And if the judge agrees to allow it into evidence, then they will post it to the jury. So here comes the static. They're going to discuss this. I can't handle it. I'm sorry, that static is whoo doggy. It be loud. All right. Let me see what's going on in the comments while we're doing this. Some of this doesn't even pertain. I don't care about that case. Don't remember trying this, but the first day I was diagnosed. Oh, they're talking about COVID in the chat. Listening to this guy talk is drying paint. Listening to this guy talk about drying paint is just as exciting as. I don't know where are these comments coming from. This is weird. Whatever you think of either party involved here, the only thing that matters is the law, because this country is built on laws. The defendant will be judged against the law, not your feelings. Good point. Someone says, even if he did trespass, there would have to be a reasonable fear, injury of death, fear of injury or death for him to have the right to shoot. I've been following closely. Number one, both are guilty. Number two, Arizona doesn't have a stand your ground law, I believe. So self-defense can't be in play, but defense is doing that. And then Achai says, his perception was immediate jeopardy. No bullet recovered to show who shot him. Gun, unsecured, and fully loaded for over 24 hours. Do you support that? Okay, guys. One of the things is, and I'm just going to speak from my own experience. When I lived in San Antonio, there was a lady who lived upstairs, and I was in an apartment complex, and we had a lot of bad things happening, a lot of burglaries. We had several rapes. We had a lot of bad things. And I can't say that. I got to learn what I can't say on YouTube. So we had a lot of bad things happening. And a lady went to empty her trash. She came back upstairs. Guy was standing in her apartment, and she saw what she thought may have been a gun in his pocket. She grabbed a gun and shot him. A little different in here, but it was a perceived threat. It wasn't a gun. It was a candy bar. It's all perception, y'all. Okay, we're going to go back to the volume.
Of last year.
Let's scroll this back just a couple. Yep.
Daniel,
Okay. He's permitting it.
January 30th of last year, the day of this incident,
Now it's harder to hear.
you met up with a bunch of individuals to come to the United States together.
Se reunió con varios individuos para llegar a los Estados Unidos. So, sí. Yeah.
Before doing that, you met up with an individual before coming.
Y antes de eso, antes de hacer eso, usted se reunió con un individuo antes de venir.
Who is that individual that you talked to about coming to the United States with?
¿Quién es ese individuo con quien usted habló sobre llegar a los Estados Unidos?
No lo conocía.
I didn't know.
You didn't know? You what made sweet might be a misunderstanding here.
He didn't answer the way he wanted him to.
When you wanted to come to the United States to work around January 30th of last year, did you talk to someone in Mexico on the border about coming over?
¿Usted habló con alguien en México en la frontera sobre cruzar la frontera? Yeah.
Yes, and who was that?
¿Y quién fue esa persona?
No, solo sé que le llaman Cholo.
The only thing I know is that he was called a Cholo.
Oh, I heard two different things. Was there a friend of yours you came across with?
Muy bien, dos cosas diferentes. ¿Quién fue? ¿Usted cruzó con un amigo suyo?
Sí, pero íbamos varios.
Yes, but there were several of us.
Sure. Who was the individual you talked about coming across? What was the plan of coming across? Where were you going to go, and what kind of work were you planning on doing?
Entendido. ¿Quién era ese individuo? ¿Cuál fue el plan para cruzar? ¿Qué es que ustedes estaban pensando en hacer al llegar aquí? Interpreter, perdón. Don't understand.
What city were you planning on going to when you came into the United States?
¿Qué ciudad estaba planeando llegar a Estados Unidos? Phoenix.
Phoenix. And what kind of job were you planning on doing when you got to Phoenix?
¿Y qué clase de trabajo estaba planeando hacer al llegar a Phoenix? Roofing, also construction, masonry.
And whose idea was that? Was that your idea or somebody you knew?
¿Y esa idea fue de usted o fue de alguien que usted conoció? Some relatives I knew.
All right. Did you meet up with a friend of yours before coming across the border?
Okay, there's an objection.
You came across the border with, Daniel?
It was leading.
No.
So he was coming along across the border with people he did not know. Leading.
Whether he calls, whether it rings a bell, whether it's a name he recalls or not.
You can answer.
Puede contestar la pregunta. ¿Se acuerda del nombre Gabriel?
Sí, Gabriel.
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 ¿Quién es Gabriel?
A él lo conocí en la obra en Nogales.
I met him in construction in Nogales. We were workmates.
This is your first time testifying, right? And with a jury.
Yeah.
You're a little nervous?
They're going to keep hammering that home in.
My questions can sometimes be confusing.
A leading objection. I guess he's going to allow it.
You can be honest.
Okay.
So Gabrielle, the individual you met in Nogales, Sonora?
Entonces, Gabriel es un individuo que usted conoció en Nogales, Sonora.
Sí.
Yes.
And what was your relationship with Gabrielle?
¿Qué relación tenía usted con Gabriel?
no más compañeros que
How'd they?
We were just work companions at the construction.
Oh, he has a stress ball in the
Did you
shape
work
of a
together
star.
for Mexico together for a little bit?
They prepped him well. I want to see how he does on cross.
We would see each other there at the job.
And what's the time frame? How long did you know Gabrielle before coming across the border?
Like a year or something like that.
So you knew him for a little bit.
Yes.
On the day of January 30th, did you traveled to the United States?
They moved the mic more towards the interpreter. Ah, see better.
Yes.
Was Gabrielle with you?
Oh, Gabriel con usted?
en el momento que yo
Yes, the moment that we were going to cross, that was when we saw each other.
Okay, and he crossed with you.
Y él cruzó con usted.
Thank you so much for watching. Please comment, like, and subscribe.
And we'll show Gabrielle the photograph.
Same objection, Your Honor.
Objections overruled.
Not for public. I'm going to show you it's been marked, I believe it's going to be 118. We'll correct that later, but 118.
Le voy a mostrar lo que ha sido, creo, marcado como prueba de cargo 18.
Daniel, do you recognize that photograph?
Daniel, ¿usted reconoce esa foto? Yes.
Who is that?
¿Quién es esa persona?
All right, I made this post public so you can comment
Do you remember Gabrielle as?
on Facebook.
Buena representación de cómo usted se acuerda de la vida. Yes.
Then I move to admit exhibit 118.
118 is admission.
Mission to publish. Friend.
Ah, there's the picture. Finally got us. First time I've seen him outside of the website.
Yes.
Let's talk about January 30th, 2023, last year.
Sobre el 30 de enero del año pasado.
Walk the jury through the day so you understand what happened to you on that day.
Explíquele al jurado sobre ese día para que ellos puedan entender qué les sucedió a ustedes ese día.
y yo miramos a bordo del patrón, llegamos a una carretera de tierra.
When we saw the border patrol, we made it to a dirt road.
Y entonces miramos a bordo del patrón y el grupo que ellos iban al frente de nosotros. Ellos corrieron y nosotros corrimos y ya no fuimos a hacer. Y nos regresamos para nosotros mirar la habitación.
So we saw the border patrol, and those in front went off. They went forward, and we went back. We went running. They went running forward, and we did that so that the border patrol wouldn't see us.
Okay, Daniel, I'm gonna go back further in time on that day.
Voy a retroceder un poquito en cuanto a tiempo sobre ese día.
Walk me through before crossing the border. Walk me through the events before crossing the border.
Explíqueme sobre los eventos que sucedieron ese día antes de que usted cruzara la frontera ese mismo día.
Antes de cruzar para Estados Unidos.
Sorry, do you mean before crossing into the United States?
I do.
Sí.
Pues estábamos esperando nomás que llegara para un poco.
I shall return. Sorry, guys, I missed some of that. I had a package. Getting several packages. I guess that's what happens when you have a birthday. Oh,
I
gotta get
don't
me here.
know what happened with the rest of them, but Gabriel and I, we went running, and then we hid.
So you ran and hid with Gabrielle.
Entonces, corrió y luego se escondió con Gabriel. Yes.
So let's walk through. How long did you run and hide? How long did you run and hide for?
Entonces, ¿cuánto tiempo corrió y cuánto tiempo estaba escondiendo? Like 15 minutes running.
And you hid the other time.
Y luego, también escondió el otro tiempo. No, we were going to start to walk when the shots started.
Oh, so when Border Patrol saw you, you and Gabrielle splintered off? Is that fair to say?
Bueno, entonces un patrullero, patrullero Border Patrol y luego usted y Gabriel.
Border Patrol saw them and then they ran, but nobody brought that up.
Yes.
And before I get too far into this,
I have
let me
questions.
ask you, Gabrielle, Daniel, did you have any weapons on you?
Muy bien, antes de hablar más, te quiero hacer una pregunta, Daniel. ¿Portaba usted algún tipo de arma en este momento? No.
Did you have any drugs on you?
¿Llevaba drogas en este momento? No.
Do you know if Gabrielle had either weapons or drugs on him?
¿Él sabe si Gabriel llevaba drogas?
He can't answer that.
No.
No, you don't know, or do you know he did not have it?
No sabe o no portaba. He wasn't carrying.
He wasn't carrying a gun or carrying drugs.
No portaba ni drogas ni tampoco armas. No.
I got to pause that for a split second. When Mr. Kelly called the ranch liaison for Border Patrol, nobody, and then this guy called Border Patrol. They did not, no one has said, and when Border Patrol was on the witness stand, no one has said that Border Patrol had seen these gentlemen and were chasing them 15 minutes prior to the alleged shooting. You would think if Border Patrol was chasing people, there would be a record of it, and it has not been brought up, so I have questions.
And then when you mentioned you were hiding, what's the terrain like there? Do you remember what the terrain was like? The vegetation, the trees, and the grass? Do you remember what that was like?
Ahora, usted mencionó que se escondió. ¿Cómo es el terreno, la vegetación, los árboles, el pasto? ¿Cómo nos puede describir cómo fue el terreno? Yellow grass, it was dry. Trees, mesquite trees.
How tall was that yellow grass?
¿Qué tan alto fue el pasto, el zacate verde? From here from the ground to my knees, to the knees.
And you mentioned that there were shooting happened.
Mencionó que había disparos, que hubo disparos. Yes.
Walk the jury through that scene for us.
What happened?
So we were walking and we weren't doing very well. We didn't have any water, so we decided to rest a little bit. Descansamos un tantito. And we stopped. And when we were about to start to walk again, that was when the shots started.
So were you sitting down? Were you standing up?
We looked all around. We couldn't see anybody. There wasn't anybody there. The only thing that was there was a horse.
Anything else around that you can identify?
Algo más alrededor de donde estaban que usted pudo identificar.
Más a mi lado izquierdo, pero no de ahí veníamos para la derecha. Del lado izquierdo estaban una casa.
Just that on the left side there was a house with pines.
Okay, and do you know what direction the shots are coming from?
Y usted sabe de qué dirección venían los disparos. Right side over here.
On your right side, the shots are coming from your right side.
Los disparos venían del lado derecho de usted. Yes.
In what direction were you going at this time?
¿Y en qué dirección iba usted en ese momento?
Dirección
The direction we were going to the border, we were going back.
So you're heading back to the border, and
Why are you going back to the border?
You're right.
Entonces ustedes estaban yendo hacia la frontera, regresando a la frontera, y los disparos venían del lado derecho de ustedes.
Sí.
Yes.
And you mentioned something about a horse. What was the horse?
Y usted mencionó algo sobre un caballo. ¿De qué se cuéntanos del caballo?
El caballo, pues, cuando los primeros disparos, el caballo estaba vivo. Yo ya no me cago cuando miré la persona que cuando la vio que ya me dieron.
Momentico. So there was a horse, and the horse at first started jumping, and then when I turned around, my companion, Gabriel, said, "I've been hit."
Do you know what color the horse was?
Usted sabe qué color era el caballo. Red.
And when you just mentioned Gabriel turned to you and said he's been hit,
Y usted acaba de mencionar que Gabriel le dio la vuelta a donde estaba usted y dijo, me dieron. Yes, I've been hit.
and do you remember how many? Do you remember how many shots you heard?
¿Usted recuerda cuántos disparos escuchó? From 8 to 10 shots. But
Pero no puedo ver asustado ya.
But I was so scared, so I don't know how many more, but maybe 10.
And you were scared at this point.
Y en este momento usted ya estaba asustado. Yes?
You just testified that Gabriel was hit.
Y usted dio testimonio de que a Gabriel le habían dado. Yes, because he said, been hit.
Did he do anything, like show you where he was hit, or what happened?
Él hizo algo, como que le enseñó dónde le habían dado. He just grabbed his chest and he went like that, and he said, "I'm hit."
And then what did you do after that?
Y después de eso, ¿qué hizo usted? I started running.
Oh, so you ran and left him. Your best friend, sorry, a friend of 20 years. You ran and left him.
I jumped over Gabriel and I started running.
In which direction were you running?
¿En qué dirección iba corriendo? In the direction of the border.
Walk us through as you were running. Did you do anything? Did you stop? What happened as you ran to the border?
A ver, vamos paso a paso. Explíquenos, por favor, qué fue lo que pasó cuando iba corriendo de regreso a la frontera.
Agarré un barranco, un barranco corto, y volteé a ver para atrás y miré, pero no miraba a nadie, porque los siguientes ya no se habían parado de disparar. Ya cuando miré que para atrás, pero ya de una cancha de miré a una persona nomás que estaba al lado de
Yes. So I jumped off a small cliff and I looked back and I didn't see anything. The shots had stopped. So I looked back, and it was about the size of a football field. And that far away, I saw that there was a person standing there, the person that was firing us.
Did you see what it looked like?
¿Usted pudo ver, vio cómo se veía esta persona? No.
And how long did it take from the gunshots as you ran away and you look back? Do you recall? If not, that's okay. Do you recall the time period by the time you turned back around and looked?
Ay, ¿no se acuerda cuánto tiempo pasó? About 15 minutes.
When you look back, did you see? You may not be able to recognize, but did you see anything about the person that you saw?
Y cuando usted volteó a ver otra vez, probablemente no reconoció a la persona, pero reconoció algo en la persona.
Nomás la camisa, una camisa.
The only thing that I was able to, that I saw was that he's a gray shirt.
Anything about his head or anything about his head?
Algo en su cabeza.
No, nomás.
I didn't see anything else. I just saw white, and I don't know if there was a hat. I didn't see.
You saw white top of his head.
Usted vio blanco aquí en la cabeza.
Sí.
Yes.
And was he, if you know, was he at the distance? Was he where you thought Gabriel was at?
Y si, a ver si recuerda, él estaba donde usted cree que estaba Gabriel.
De la dirección de donde yo había cogido.
From the direction where I had run from.
And then to finish out, you run back to Mexico.
Y para terminar esto, usted corrió a México.
Sí.
Yes.
You weren't caught by BP on this time.
Esta vez no lo agarró la Border Patrol. No.
Then what did you do when you got back to Mexico?
Y ya cuando usted llegó a México, ¿qué fue lo que hizo? No, I was just there on the side of the wall. It was just, I was still very nervous.
And what
So
happened? Eventually, someone contacted you. Walk me through what happened.
he goes
and
back
how
to
long after
Mexico.
that someone-
Y después de esto, finalmente contactó.
I don't know who's coughing, but it's hurting me.
Cuando alguien lo contactó. No,
No what?
no sé.
No, yo me quedé porque hasta que oscureció porque yo estaba malo, no podía caminar, estaba con de la del susto.
So he didn't come back into
No,
Texas.
because I stayed there
Or
till
US.
sundown because I was throwing up because I was so nervous. I was vomiting and vomiting and vomiting.
Eventually, someone from law enforcement gets a hold of you. Right?
Pero bueno, después de eso, finalmente un agente de la policía se comunicó con usted.
Después,
After,
a los días.
days after.
Days after. And how that happened? Tell us how that happened.
¿Y cómo se dio eso? ¿Cómo pasó eso?
Por parte de la familia.
Getting interesting.
By means of his family, of Gabriel's family.
So Gabriel's family reached out to you.
Entonces, los familiares de Gabriel se comunicaron con usted.
No, un sobrino se queda de
A nephew or an uncle, I don't know the relationship to the daughters.
Reached out to you, and that's how you became involved in this case.
Ese señor fue que se comunicó con usted y así fue como usted se involucró en todo este caso. Yes.
And going back to that group that came across around 12 o'clock that afternoon,
Ahora, regresando al grupo que cruzaron juntos, más o menos como mediodía. Yes?
did any of them, if you know, any of them have guns?
¿Alguno de ellos, si es que usted sabe, alguno de ellos traía?
No.
No.
Did any of them, if you know, have drugs?
¿Alguno de ellos, si usted sabe, alguno de ellos tiene drogas.
What I mean by guns, I'm also talking about handguns.
Y cuando digo armas, digo pistolas
and also rifles.
y o rifles.
He can't testify for everybody of the group. I can't believe they're allowing this to happen. He would not know necessarily. He is paying to come across the border. Did he pat everybody down? Did he inspect everybody? No, he can't say. He may not believe it, but doesn't mean that was not the case. I'm surprised there was not an objection. It's cause for speculation. But I'm sure they're going to hit it on cross.
I want to clarify a couple of questions for you, Daniel.
Quiero aclarar un par de preguntas contigo. Okay.
The horse, was it big horse, skinny horse, tall horse, short horse?
Oh my gosh. How many hands tall was it?
El caballo. Era un caballo grande, un caballo
15 or
alto,
30?
un caballo chico.
Did you guys?
Chapito, describa por favor el caballo.
It was a horse. How tall are you?
Medium-sized horse, let's say from here down.
I'm sorry, I looked down when you did that, so.
How tall are you?
White spot right here. And he wasn't fat, he was skinny.
And what side of, put the horse, I'm trying to arrange myself in this scenario when the shooting happened.
He's trying to get.
Where was the horse in relationship to you and where the shots are coming from?
Ahora, estoy tratando de posicionarme en el lugar donde usted estaba cuando los disparos. Entonces,
And were there two pastures?
dígame dónde estaba el caballo en relación a usted y de dónde venían los disparos. On the right side, from where the where the shots were coming from, there was a fence, and the horse was on the right.
Were the shots coming from the other side of the horse, or was the horse between you and the shot, or was the horse on the other side of the shots?
Muy bien, entonces el caballo estaba del otro lado de los disparos. Bueno, el caballo estaba entre usted y los disparos.
If I was the defense, I'd be asking, how tall are you? I'd get more clarification.
Okay. Let me talk about, did people in the group have backpacks?
Ahora vamos a hablar de mochila. Las personas en el grupo traían mochila. Yes?
And what was in those backpacks, Amy?
¿Qué traían en la mochila? Food?
Anything else?
Food, jacket, water.
And when Gabriel was shot, he also had a backpack, right?
Y cuando a Gabriel le dispararon, él también traía mochila. Yes.
And when he was shot and you were assessing what was going on, did you go through his backpack?
Y cuando a él le dieron, y usted estaba tratando de entender lo que estaba pasando, usted se puso a registrar la mochila. No.
He ran.
Usted corrió. I ran.
Other questions I had.
I am taking notes.
Today, that your name is Daniel Ramirez
Okay, here we go. Cross.
or Varela.
Nomás quiero aclarar usted ahora que su nombre era Daniel Ramírez Varela. Varela.
You've testified in court about this before, right?
Usted ya ha dado testimonio en un tribunal sobre esto anteriormente, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Yes.
And when you testified previously, you stated your name was Daniel Ramirez Ruiz, correct?
Y cuando testificó anteriormente, usted dijo que su nombre era Daniel Ramírez Ruiz, ¿verdad?
Sí, porque tuve con el papel, tuve un error con papel.
Because I had some mix up with my papers.
You have some mix-ups with your papers.
So you don't know your name.
Yes, because I had Mexican documentation.
You have Mexican documentation that has your name as Daniel Ramirez Ruiz, correct?
Usted traía documentos mexicanos con el nombre de Daniel con Ruiz. Yes.
Where did you get those documents?
¿De dónde consiguió usted esos documentos? At the border with Guatemala and Mexico.
Why did you change your name when you got Mexican paperwork?
¿Por qué se cambió el nombre cuando consiguió los documentos mexicanos?
No me lo cambié, sino que en lo que me hicieron los papeles me hicieron un apellido.
I didn't change it. It's just when I got the documents, they wrote down a name that it wasn't.
So somebody else just wrote down the wrong last name.
Entonces alguien más escribió el apellido equivocado.
Sí.
Yes.
But you said that that was your name.
Pero usted dijo que ese era su nombre. Daniel Alberto Ramírez Varela.
When you testified previously under oath, you testified that your name was Daniel Ramirez Ruiz, right?
Cuando usted dio su testimonio,
So we had altered documents. He's not going to admit to any crime because he doesn't want to go to jail.
You remember having a previous hearing where you testified before today. You remember that?
¿Usted se acuerda aquella otra audiencia, haber tenido otra audiencia donde usted dio su testimonio anterior a esta, verdad?
Sí.
Yes.
And you told the court at that hearing that your name was Daniel Ramirez Ruiz. That's what you said on that date. Remember that?
Y usted le dijo al juez en aquella audiencia que su
Interesting,
nombre era Daniel
but not uncommon.
Ramírez Ruiz. ¿Se acuerda de eso? Yes.
And when you spoke with investigators in this case, you also told them that your name was Daniel Ramirez Ruiz. Is that right?
Y cuando usted habló con los investigadores en este caso, también les dijo que su nombre era Daniel Ramírez Ruiz. ¿Es correcto?
Sí.
Yes.
Even though that's not your real name.
Aunque ese no es su nombre verdadero.
Y pues para no, yo no traía documentos de lo que la
Yes, that is my real name. It's just that since I had the documents from Mexico, I didn't have any other documentation except those papers from Mexico.
You're saying now that Daniel Ramirez Ruiz is your real name.
Ahora dice que Daniel Ramírez Ruiz es su nombre verdadero.
No.
No.
So that's not your real name.
Daniel Alberto Ramírez Varela. That is my full name.
So Daniel Ramirez Ruiz is not your real name.
Entonces Daniel Ramírez Ruiz no es su nombre, ¿verdad?
It is not uncommon to get false documents that have most of the information correct, but one part changed. I'll explain later.
And two investigators in this case, correct?
Pero usted sí
So we lied.
al juez y a los investigadores
Under oath.
ese nombre que no es el correcto, ¿verdad?
El apellido.
The last name that is not. But I always said Varela.
You're telling me that you always told investigators in this case that your last name was really Varela.
Usted está diciendo ahora que usted siempre le
I don't
dijo a
think
los
he understands
investigadores que
impeachment.
su apellido correcto era Varela.
Sí.
Yes.
So all the investigators, when they testify, they'll say that you told them that your real name was Varela.
Entonces, cuando los investigadores den su testimonio, ellos van a decir que usted siempre les dijo que su nombre era Varela.
Sí.
Yes.
Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Please like, subscribe, and comment.
States approximately 10 times, is that right?
Usted dice que ha cruzado los Estados Unidos aproximadamente 10 veces, ¿verdad? Yes.
And that's in pursuit of the American dream, correct?
Y eso es buscando el sueño americano, ¿correcto? Yes.
You also say that you've been caught every single time that you've attempted to cross into the United States, correct?
Y usted también dijo que cada una de las veces que ha intentado cruzar a los Estados Unidos lo han agarrado.
I love the captions.
Yes.
It's so off.
And you also say that you paid $2,500 every time you crossed. Is that correct?
Y usted también dijo que cada vez que ha intentado cruzar a los Estados Unidos ha pagado $2,500, ¿correcto? Yes.
And if you do that 10 times,
25,000.
that adds up to
Oh, $250,000.
Y si usted ha hecho eso 10 veces, entonces
No,
su
2,500, 25,000.
Yes.
25,000.
Well, objection.
25 millones. 25,000.
25,000.
That's a lot of money, is that correct?
Eso es mucho
Sí.
dinero, ¿verdad? Yes.
Where did that come from?
¿De dónde viene ese dinero?
Pero
From the time that I'm working, I save up a little, and or my family would.
You're 43 years old. You've crossed 10 times. How long does it take you to save up $2,500?
¿Cuánto tiempo le toma a usted poder ahorrar $2,500?
depende del trabajo que tengan los familiares que van a ayudar.
It depends on the work that my family members have who are helping me.
It wasn't just him saving. The whole family saved.
Familiares que están en Honduras, ¿correcto? Yes.
The whole family saves. They send one person. That person goes and sends money back when they work in the U.S.
Usted dijo eso también, ¿correcto? Yes, yes.
But your family's able to raise this money for you somehow?
Pero su familia de todas formas puede recaudar ese dinero de alguna forma.
Familiares que ya están en Estados Unidos.
Family members who are in the United States now.
You have family members who are in the United States.
Illegally or legally?
Entonces, usted tiene familiares en Estados Unidos que consiguieron ese dinero para ustedes. Yes.
You've never worked in the United States, correct?
Usted nunca ha trabajado en Estados Unidos, ¿correcto? No.
Because you've been caught every single time you've attempted to come into the United States, correct?
Porque le han agarrado cada vez que usted ha intentado entrar en Estados Unidos, ¿correcto? Yes.
Council, we're going to take our mid-morning recess. We'll take a 30-minute recess. We'll come back at 10:30.
Okay, here's my question. Here is my question. Question. If he's got family here, are they here legally? Or are they here illegally? Once the shot happened, he's already in the U.S. Why did he run back to Mexico? I'm struggling a little bit, but I want to explain something. I knew a person who had a child and had a lady who was from Mexico. Let me back up. She herself used to live in Mexico, U.S. citizen. At some point, spent time in Mexico living. And came back to the U.S., married, had a baby, I guess. And she had a lady who was living here illegally, who was a nanny to the baby. They had a little money. This was before I knew that person. The child was now about 9, 10 years old when I knew this person. At one point in our relationship, excuse me, I get a call from this person I do not know that says that my friend, person A, now no longer friend, asked for me to pick up their child in a neighboring town because she was out of town. And I said, where is she? And I was told she was in Mexico. And that person thought I was supposed to get her child. This was during the summer, and so the child had spent a couple of days with this other person and their child, and now it's the weekend's over, and now my friend's son had to come back home, but she's not here. Well, I'm not going to abandon the child, so he stayed with me, and she was gone for 2 weeks. She brought a lady across the border illegally. And how did that happen? Let's say her name was Mary Ann Smith. They falsified or found, actually, it was a deceased woman's green card whose name was Mary Ann Schmidt. There's some variations. The first and middle name may be correct, but then they changed the last name. And so when she came across the border, she was concerned, so she bought a puppy. Yes, you can bring puppies across the border, I guess. I don't know. So the old lady's sitting in the back seat with the puppy, and she told the old lady that she doesn't hear. So when the Border Patrol people would ask questions, my friend would have to speak real loud and help her answer the questions. The lady was an old lady. But the point of this is she got her across the border using falsified documents, which is kind of what this guy just did. I know a lot of people don't understand that process, but usually it's the last name that changes. So if they called you by your first name, you would respond, or your middle name. And so they changed the last name, and they were able to come across the border. I really feel bad for the Border Patrol people. They do the best they can. It is a relentless, dangerous, non-rewarding job, per se, and I wouldn't want it at all, but that's what it is. I've made some notes. I want to go over my notes. One of the things that's concerning me is the talking about the shooting. Let me go ahead and get this off because I put it on something else. So let me go ahead and make me big. One of the things that's concerning me is he said the guy was shot up here, right here, up on his chest. Well, actually, he was shot back here and it came out up here, so I could see where he would do that. But he ran and left the friend. He ran back to Mexico. First thing they asked him, of course, his age, where is he from? And he has tried approximately 10 times to get in the United States at $2,500 a pop. That's cheap, by the way. Border Patrol just testified it can be between $8,000 and $10,000 a pop. So it just depends on the cartel, depends on how far, depends on a lot of things, I guess. So the point of entry, he contacted a person. He did not know who it was. He was going to go to Phoenix. He was going to do work as a construction and masonry. I'm sorry, we're having allergies here, y'all. He had a friend named Gabriel, who's the victim. He's met in Mexico. They've known each other, he says, for about 20 years or so. So as they were crossing the border, they were being chased by Border Patrol. This is where I have an issue. They're being chased by Border Patrol for about 15 minutes. They ran onto this guy's property. Then he heard shots. Okay. He saw a horse, red, later with a white spot. He said medium size, skinny. He heard about 8 to 10 shots. Well, that's about right, because the rancher said he fired 9. He then, friend said he went like this and said, I'm hit. So Daniel runs towards the Mexican border. Now, here's my thought on this. You just crossed. Border Patrol's chasing you. You go back where you're being chased from. In the testimony with the Border Patrol, now I'm sure they're going to have more, but the gentleman who is the ranch liaison, he was off that day. He was not on duty, but he got a call from the rancher, frantic. You're sitting there, and I would, if I was a betting person, if there's Border Patrol chasing people onto the rancher's property or close enough to his property, I would think there'd be record of that because they have to document. Border Patrol has to document. When they go on private property, they have to document why. Because if there is damage to said property, Border Patrol is responsible for fixing that property. There are times it's been testified that they've had to cut Mr. Kelly's and other ranchers' fences to enter in order to chase illegal immigrants. Then when that's over, they fix the fence. So then the gentleman, Daniel, says he jumped a fence and he ran back towards the border. It was about 15 minutes when he stopped, about the length of a football field. Okay, whoa, let's time that out. Even at my age, I can walk the length of a football field and really fast in just a few minutes. So it may have felt like 15 minutes. I doubt that it was 15 minutes. I'm starting to, as a juror, I'd be punching holes in this. He says he stopped and he saw a person standing where he came from, i.e. the victim. He states he had a gray shirt on. The prosecution was really pushing him. Could you see what else? Could you see his head? Now, the guy knows what the defendant looks like. It's been all over the news. It's been everywhere. It was hard-pressed questioning, and he finally said gray. White. Actually, he said white. So the prosecution got him to say gray shirt. All he could see was a gray shirt. And then he got him to say white-headed. He said the shooter was standing where he ran from. He said he got back to the wall. He was vomiting because he was so nervous. Probably vomiting from running as well. It was a couple of days after this happened that he was contacted by police. How would Gabriel's family know that he's deceased unless Daniel told them? Because at that point, it was just he and Daniel together. The group had dispersed because they were being chased. The daughters had somebody, an aunt or uncle, reach out to the police, and the police reached out to Daniel. He was asked by the prosecution, did Daniel, Gabriel, or anyone have guns? He said no. Did anyone have drugs? He said no. Everybody had backpacks. See, well, here's the problem. That's speculation. Because when someone's running drugs, sometimes you'll become a mule. That means that you agree to come into the United States. In lieu of your fee of $2,500, you will carry a certain amount of drugs on your person. Sometimes they put them in a balloon, condom, or whatever, and you swallow them and you carry them that way. You can carry them in your backpack, in your shoes, any way that they want you to carry it, you carry it. Then when you get over here, you have to give them the drugs. A lot of times when they fly, a lot of airports and a lot of things like that, and the border crossing points is where they find them in the bodies. But anyway, then he was asked again about a horse. So he asked about the horse. He said, how tall was the horse? Okay, it's relative. If the horse is kicking and bucking and running, you're not going to take time to measure them, and they're measured in hand widths. There's so many hands tall to the wither. So I don't know. He said it had a white spot on the forehead. It was slender or skinny, and the horse was to the right side where the shot. So I think the horse was running between him and the shots. I don't doubt the horse was running. If he was there, I don't doubt that he may have been there. I don't know. The backpacks, he said, had food and jackets and water. He said he did not search Gabriel's backpack after he was shot. He did not rummage through it. He didn't take anything from it. Then crosses started. And I was interested to know this because when he stated his name at the beginning of trial, it was a very long name. And I could have sworn I heard something different. But anyway, basically, when he's testified, I guess in the grand jury or depositions, I don't know where all he testified, but it wasn't in court in front of a jury. So it was either depositions or grand jury, that he used a different name because that was what was on his documentation. He said it was a mix-up at the border. He got his documents at the border. And that because of that, he used that name. And he was asked, well, why did you change your name? And they said they changed him at the border. He did not. So then they started asking him about the money and how was he coming up with $25,000 over the years. It was basically, then he said he had family in the United States. He worked and saved for it. I'm not an expert on illegals. I'm not an expert. I have taken some classes on the border with some of my training. It's done 100,000 different ways, but one of the ways that happens is either if a family doesn't have a connection in the U.S. and say you got a colonial, which is basically one major house, and then you have a bunch of little houses, they're all packed in together. You may have up to 4 or 5 families living in one plot of land, and each family has a little house that they attach. It's very, very, I might pull up what one looks like. But you may have, say, on one little piece of land, property, it could be the size of, I don't know, a fourth of an acre. You may have like 8 to 10 people living there. And so let's say 8 out of the 10 are working, capable of working. They will save up the extra money and save up money and send one person to the U.S. That money that they spent sending that person to the U.S., when they get here and they start working, that one family member will start sending money back to Mexico. And eventually they will work on getting people over 1 or 2 or maybe even the whole group at a time and pay for them to cross illegally. That could be $2,500 up to $10,000 a person, depending on the coyote or the organization or who you're using to get across the border. So this is a big moneymaker to bring people over illegally. Most of the time, for the lower end money, from what I understand, if it's like $2,500 or something like that, and you get caught, you go back, you got to do it all over again. He said there was a couple of times he didn't have to pay. That was because he carried marijuana. That was the other thing that kind of makes me question him, is the fact that he carried marijuana across the border in lieu of a payment and was caught and charged. I think he spent time, and if this is the right witness, I think he spent time in a federal prison for a short while. So I'm sure the defense is going to get to that if he did. I'm not sure how credible he is. It does give an insight as to the situation and what's happening. Okay, everybody. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on a hold. I'm going to take a little ladies' break. And what we're going to do is we'll be right back. Let me get some music going. And we'll be back in about, where is my volume? Why can I not hear the music? Okay, it's supposedly playing. Let me double check here. And what we'll do is we'll take a quick ladies' break, and we'll be right back. And hopefully, court will be ready to resume. Let me see if I can hear it. And Hopefully, court will be ready to resume. Why can I not hear music playing? I have it marked. Okay, let's try this one. That is interesting, everybody. Very interesting. What is it? Okay, I'll be right back. Hang on. Okay. While they're doing that, I'm going to try. What is going on with the music? It's not playing. I don't hear it at all. Switch outputs. Testing? Nope, that's not it. Okie dokie. I'll have to figure it out later. Okay, let me go here. I'm going to Google images of what I may not be spelling it right. Let's do it this way. I'm gonna bring this down here. Okay, colonias are housing developments located along the Texas-Mexico border. It could be any state, but it's for us. That's what they call it. Residents in the colonias often lack basic services such as drinking water, sewage treatment, and paved roads. Let's go to images. Okay, so we do have a lot of colonias in the Texas-Mexico border. In fact, multiple families live there. A lot of times they will put broken down old mobile homes on it, tents. There's a picture of a colonia. And let's do this. I think that's sharing it. Trying to add to stage. That's not what I'm. Come on, get rid of the commercial. There we go. This here is a colonia right here. We're going to expand that. People live in this little thing. They take different, that's part of a vehicle. This is a little house they're living in. Someone's living in here. And this is very typical of a colonia on the Mexico border. Here's another one. Oh, this is a really good image of one. Now, when I was in the American Red Cross, I would go to a lot of hurricanes and whatnots on the border. And this is exactly, I can't enlarge this anymore. This is what one colonia looks like. And the sad thing is that when they are exposed to flooding and other weather situations, they do not hold up well, and they're constantly having to be remade. It is a very difficult situation for those who are having to live in that state. I'm going to remove this now. But it is how they live. It is a very difficult situation when you're standing on the U.S.-Texas border, because that's where I live. Even going out to El Paso, going towards, say, California, Arizona, New Mexico. You can actually see across the border and see big groups of colonias. And it breaks my heart. I understand that it's a very bad situation. However, entering the country illegally is not a good situation either. You put yourself at a lot of risk when you do so. So that's where it is. The break should be over shortly. Let me look at some of the comments that are being made online. See if we can answer those or see what people are saying or things are being, or what's being gleaned. Okay, I gotta get my glasses on. I'm sorry, y'all. I got the old lady's problem. Yeah, I know. I had a birthday yesterday. Braylon says, since the victim was back on the property so far away and was not near the house, I'm not sure how much of a threat he would have been. Although, yes, crossing the border is illegal and he was not near the home. Well, once again, that many of these ranchers, it doesn't matter how far away they are from the border or their home, a lot of times the people are with a coyote and that person often has a weapon. So it's not just about not seeing it on one person. As the guy said, he came over in a group. Border Patrol was chasing. The group scattered. How many people was on his property? He heard a gunshot, allegedly. Tawanda says they can't even prove he shot him. There's no bullet. Yes, he does have a set time for breaks. He will say, okay, break, hold, pause. That's the way he runs his courtroom. Dirt cheap in his text message to his son when he explained he was excited about killing people with this new gun. I don't know about that yet. Some of y'all are getting stuff in that y'all have heard from media. I did not watch a single news report. Everything I'm getting from the court itself. Court documents and this. I'm not watching news media, other people's comments or testimony. Someone said maybe he was seeking asylum. He was not seeking asylum. There are rules of what that is considered. No bullet recovered to match into the gun, and hearing the victim say that some of the horses were right next to them, there was no way he shot at them. That's a good point. You know, I will be honest, that's a good point. No rancher in their right mind is going to shoot in the direction of their horse. Now, trespassing in and of itself does not warrant someone losing their life. Part of the problem is that I know some people are talking. Oh, court's coming back in, I believe. Part of the problem is that people are talking about people escaping jail and they don't shoot them and things like that. Well, guys, why? It looked like they're coming back in. Why do I not have that feed? It does not show it on my feed yet. Why not? Here we go. We're back in. And volume on. Here we go. Housekeeping. I think I like this one better. think the microphone's gotten a little softer. So she's impeaching him right now. And one of the problems they've had is they kept saying that he said, no, understand, that's why I didn't answer right.
No objections to the question or the answer, but what page is she referring to on the?
And when you were asked that question, that was
No objection. If she's going to impeach the witness on that page, the answer is she referring to.
Yeah, she's impeaching, and he knows it. I don't know what that was, ladies and gentlemen, but that's interesting. I'm flashing. Sorry about that. Don't know what happened. is impeaching him. I don't think he understands that. This is going to be fun. Y'all, I have such a good son. He was caught and he had marijuana on him, and so he carried marijuana across the border instead of paying the $2,500. He was caught. He was deported after, I think he may have even served some time. We'll find out. Okay, guys, I'm going to eat my beautiful lunch. I got quesadillas. My son is so awesome. I will be watching and listening, but you will not see me. Okay? Back in a minute. Okay, guys, I'm back. That was a quick lunch. Sí. That may have been his perception. We might be able to give him that one. I don't know.
So you're saying that it's not a lot, this was a misunderstanding, is that right? Because you're saying he was asking you if you transported drugs into the United States on this occasion, Gabriel, is that right? That's not what the text is about, correct? So that's not what he was asking, but that's what you imagined he was asking. Prior to you
Sorry about that, guys. Had to go get something.
transporting drugs into the United States,
You got to see my lovely
you
background.
asked questions about crossing previously into the United States. Is that correct? And those were general questions, right?
Sometimes English words does not equally cross in any other language. As many times as he's done this, he should know exactly what he has. $20 bills would have been... Yep.
Like this? That's how the maximum that you handed to a fellow.
See,
And he put dash bill in his pants pocket.
see. He ain't gonna put that kind of bill with, and he had multiple people. And let's say if he had 5 people at $25,500. That's a lot of bills. He's gonna put that in a fanny pack, backpack.
And including a photo. And you didn't see any of the other people hand them John any bills. I believe you said in your testimony that you jumped the fence from into the United States. Is that right?
Creo que usted dijo anteriormente en su testimonio que ustedes habían brincado
Describe how you crossed into the United States.
Descríbame cómo cruzó a los
Did you have to go through anything to get from Mexico into the There's rails there. Okay. Is there anything else that you have to go through besides rails?
Hay rieles ahí, pero hay algo más que hay que atravesar.
Did you go over the rails or under the rails?
Usted pasó por encima de los rieles o por abajo.
So you climbed over the rails.
Entonces usted entró por encima de los rieles. ¿Verdad?
So you climbed over.
I'd pull up a map and ask him to show me where exactly did he climb over.
And I know your testimony today is that El Cholo is the person driving this. Is that right? Do you remember speaking with Detective Lara and Sheriff Hathaway about this case?
¿Se recuerda haber hablado con el
need to back that up. I want to hear that question again.
He climbed over the brakes.
Entonces usted se trepó por encima. They're not tall.
So you climbed over. And I know your testimony today is that El Cholo is the person who's guiding this group. Is that right? Do you remember speaking with Detective Barba and Sheriff Hathaway about this case? That around February. You remember telling Detective Barba and Sheriff Hathaway that Gabriel was the guy.
¿Usted recuerda que dijo al detective Barba y al sheriff Hathaway que Gabriel era el guía? No.
You never said that to them?
¿Usted nunca le dijo eso a él? No.
So if either Detective Barba or Sheriff Hathaway come in and testify, and if they say that you did tell them that Gabriel was the guy, they're not correct about that, right?
Entonces, si el detective Barba y el sheriff Hathaway vienen a y ellos dicen que usted había dicho que Gabriel era el guía, entonces no
That's going to be an interesting testimony.
You're saying that you're going to go to Phoenix, is that right? Work in Phoenix?
usted dijo que iba a Phoenix y iba a trabajar en Phoenix, ¿verdad?
And did you tell that to El Cholo, or did El Cholo show up and say, we're going to Phoenix? How did you pick the destination that you're going?
Y usted le dijo al Cholo que quería ir a Phoenix, o el Cholo llegó y le dijo vamos a Phoenix, o cómo fue que el doctor les dijo dónde iba. Where they drop us off and then they don't know what
How did you know you were going to Phoenix if you don't know where you're going to be dropped off? You didn't know where you were going to be dropped off. When you show up and you say El Cholo $2,500 to take you somewhere, but you don't know where that is.
They only take them to a certain point within the U.S., then it's up to them to find their way. From what I've been educated, I'm sure that if the more you pay, the further they take you. But for that price, I can't imagine him taking him to Phoenix from Arizona. Coming from, well, maybe he would. That's not too bad. From Texas, no, that wouldn't happen.
El Cholo told you you were going to walk 2 or 3 days to get there.
El Cholo le dijo que iban a caminar
A lot of times they don't tell them everything to keep everything. I'll explain in a minute. But that's not uncommon. See?
And that would be safe for 3 days. Is that correct? How much water do you carry? You carry 50 liters of water with you personally. Is that in a backpack? Is that in a camouflage backpack? You carried a camouflage backpack, is that correct? With 6 liters of water in it, right? Did anything happen to that water? What happened to it?
When I saw the border patrol, I put away, I put away the bag.
So you dropped your backpack and ran to the stop. Is that right? Did you have any other bags with you, like a candy wrapper or something like that? What about Gabriel? What was he carrying? Camouflage backpack?
También le conozco mucho.
Same as yours, more or less?
La misma mochila que usted traía, más o menos.
Yes. Other members of the group, they also carry backpacks.
Nosotros mismos llevábamos mochilas.
Yes. Camouflage backpacks?
También la conozco.
Gabriel carrying any other bag? So he had a backpack that he carried on his back, is that correct? Yes. Is he carrying any other bag?
I don't know, I just know.
Oh, that's big. Big, 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 big. Khaki pants. Nope. Not that I think he was not wearing, I think he was wearing a hoodie. That's a big thing because that's not what the evidence shows he was wearing. Not on top. I don't think he was wearing camouflage, if I remember correctly. I'll have to go look, but I could have sworn he was wearing, I thought they said either olive green or dark hoodie or something. Okay, she's wanting him to draw a diagram. Now she's got to put it in evidence. Okay, let me show y'all what I've been doing. My friend gave me this wonderful, wonderful watercolor kit. And I've taken them out of this little plastic tray and I'm putting them into these that are magnetic so I can take them out and use them. I know y'all wondering, what is she doing? What I'm doing. But I ran out, so I need to get more. So I gotta put these in here. Like this. Yeah, I gotta redo my live on Facebook. They kicked me out. Let me go back into Facebook. Okay, that's 243. Okay, so it just... see if I can get, if it got me back live again. Are you kidding me? Okay, we'll have to pick it up at the next break. I'm sure they're going to sit here and tag me.
Do you see that document?
See what my messages are.
Can you read what's written there in Spanish? And do you see the question where he says, is it to the west or the, and then the answer says west. Do you see that? And then a little bit further down, you're asking west for clarification, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you told Detective Rodriguez in his interview that this is west of town. Is that correct?
Okay, I think I'm back on Facebook. That is weird, y'all. So she's impeaching on the East and West issue. He's saying that because
When you crossed with this group was all
doesn't know if he had a phone, but he knows for sure he didn't have drugs, nor did he have a gun on him. I'm just saying. It's speculation what Gabriel had on him at that time, guys. Because when they found him, his backpack was open and the fanny pack had been open and been ruffled through. He said he didn't have a radio on him. Yes, Gabriel did have a radio on him when they found his body. Depends on how small they were, how big they were. There's some pretty compact binoculars out there. I have a pair. Sorry about that, y'all. He just mouthed, "I don't understand" in English. Just check lip reads. Six liters is pretty dang heavy. See? He needs to be speaking C or no, not nodding or shaking his head. I'm surprised I haven't nailed him for it. how did he not know Gabriel was going to be there? And vice versa, when both of them were friends, they worked together. Interpreter wants to go back and clarify something. Well, I can't say translator. She's not interpreting, she's translating. ASL is the only interpreted language. I got to figure out a way to get better sound, y'all, because I'm cranked. This for a minute, y'all. I'm going to try and do something, maybe so I can get the sound a little better.
una vez me enseñaron.
I'm sorry, guys. I had no idea music was playing. Forgive me.
Different meeting from the meeting we had with Sheriff
Sorry, guys.
Barba in Mexico. Is that right?
Y esa fue una junta diferente a la que usted tuvo con el Sheriff Hathaway y después tú de Barba, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Yes.
So I want to go back to when you crossed and you're with the group. I believe you said you run into Border Patrol and everybody scatters. Is that right?
Ahora, quiero regresar a cuando usted iba cruzando con el grupo. Usted dijo que se encontraron con el Border Patrol y todos se salieron corriendo. Yes.
Do you know where you are when you run into Border Patrol?
¿Usted sabe dónde está cuando se encuentran con el Border Patrol?
Se llama la carretera, nomás le escuchamos que tiene la migra por la cual.
All I heard is that Cholo screamed that the Border Patrol is coming and that we're in Washington. And that's it.
So El Cholo says the Border Patrol is coming.
Entonces el Cholo dice que ahí viene la border.
Sí.
Yes.
We are at Washington.
Y dijo, estamos en Washington.
Sí.
Yes.
Do you know what Washington is?
Usted sabe lo que es Washington. No.
I don't know who's coughing, but man.
We're at Washington.
Entonces cuando el Cholo dice estamos en Washington, usted no sabe a qué se refiere. No.
Did you see Border Patrol?
¿Usted vio la Border Patrol? No, we just heard that they were passing by.
What did you hear?
¿Qué fue lo que escuchó?
El ruido del carro.
The sound of the car.
So you heard a car, and
Escuchó un carro.
you believed that was Border Patrol.
Escuchó un carro y usted pensaron, usted piensa que era el
Que se había parado, sí.
that they had stopped him.
Was that on a road?
Era en una calle.
Sí.
Yes.
Did you start, when you crossed over at the end of the wall, did you start by traveling on a road?
Cuando cruzaron al final,
I think he understands more English than he's letting on.
on the hill.
Did you see a road at the end of the wall when you crossed?
Al final del muro cuando cruzaron, usted vio una calle.
Sí.
Yes.
Is that the road that goes along the wall?
Esta es la calle que va a lo largo del muro.
Sí.
Yes.
Did you see other roads?
Vio otra, dirt roads on the side.
On the sides of what?
A los lados aquí.
I don't doubt he didn't cross, but I'm doubting that the shooting incident.
You don't know which one of these roads is the road that Border Patrol is on when El Cholo says Border Patrol is coming, do you?
Usted no sabe en cuál de estas calles o por cuál de estas calles por
So Border Patrol wasn't seen, but the leader of the group said Border Patrol and they scattered. Sorry.
We didn't see any more roads, just the one that we were gonna walk across. Like he said, it was Washington.
Okay, so you're at the place that El Cholo says.
I think it's a good place to take a noon break. I want to break a little bit early. I want to give our staff some time to work on this one technical problem we have. I think we fixed it, but I just want to make sure. So I'm going to give them a little time before lunch to do that. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a noon recess. Remember that by admission of court. Be back in the jury room, please, just before 1:30. Remind the witness, you're still under subpoena as a witness. You're required to be back here in court to finish your examination by both parties. You're required to be back here to testify further at 1:30. Very well, we'll take a noon recess. We'll see you all back at 1:30.
So that's going to be 3:30 our time. So we'll take a break when I get done talking to you. I shall be right back, you guys. Hey, everybody, I am back. Nice to see you all again. There's some interesting things that have happened. I forgive me about with the Facebook. I apologize. Unfortunately, for some reason, it got disconnected, but thank you to a fabulous program I'm using, which is StreamYard, not sponsored yet. I was able to get back on pretty seamlessly. So that was awesome once I realized I had an issue. So, yeah, I kind of phased out a little bit on this juror, but at the same time, I think the I think the cross examination is going really well. She has impeached him a couple of times, which is good. I wanted to explain a few things when it comes to, I said it earlier, I'll say it again. One of the things that the defense brought up, which if I was prosecution, I would have brought it up just to get it out of the way. And that was, why did you have a different name on your documentation? And why, when you were interviewed, probably depositioned, etc., for this case, you used a different last name? A lot of times when they cross borders, they have a fake green card. So if they, depending on where they are, and that way they can get work in the U.S. Excuse me. So they can get work in the U.S. We are struggling with allergies here, y'all. And I'm sorry for that. It is the way it is around here in Texas. But anyway, he said he got that at the border, which means he paid for it. And it's either a fake one or it's a deceased or somebody else's card. And the first two names were the same. The last name was different, which happens. I mean, his name is not an uncommon name, especially the first and middle name. And so either it was manufactured or it belonged to somebody else, and he purchased it. I know I had somebody that I knew that did that for somebody. I was not involved in any way, shape, or form, but I had a person I knew that brought an elderly person across the border illegally, and that's how they did it. He changed his story about west to east, and now he's sticking to the fact that he messed up. It was east. The thing is that he was saying repeatedly west, 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 and the interpreter, wherever they were at the time, changed it the last time to the east, even though you could hear on the recording he said west. And I don't know why this is dinging. It's not supposed to be dinging. Oh, I don't know if I do that, though, if you can hear me. Sorry about that, guys. I'm just going to put that there and see. So with that, he he has been impeached a couple of times. So he says that he did pay a smuggler. How did they find the smugglers? There's many ways to find them through other people and family members and friends who know of people. But the other thing is sometimes they hang out at a specific location. You're given a date and time to show up and what to carry, what to wear, what to have with you. They have not touched on carpet shoes yet. They may or may not. Carpet shoes are shoes that they give them that they wear that have carpet glued to the soles. A lot of times they're odd shapes or bigger than the sole. Sometimes they're exact same size of the sole, only because it doesn't leave the footprints and it's not as easy to track. Then they dispose of them when they are no longer in need or they wear out. He pays for she asked, why do you pay for a smuggler? You pay because the smuggler knows the routes. They have a specific pattern and different routes that they take. I guess security in groups. I don't know. He was asked if he knew how to do it himself. Would he pay someone? He said no. But my next question would have been, if you've done this 10 times, why pay somebody to get you in? You should know the route by now. But he said he's been caught 10 times. So I don't know. They said that they alluded to or asked, and I'm not able to give specific words, but I can definitely give you the concept that, what in the world am I stepping on? Oh, cords. That would it upset the cartel or the smugglers if you tried to do this on your own? Meaning, if you were out there all by yourself and you ran into one of them, would they be upset? Would that put you at risk? Definitely. And they're in it for the money. They asked if he had carried drugs. He initially said no. Then he changed his story and said, "Oh, I thought you meant for that day." He knew what they meant because he's already gone through depositions and everything. So he changed his story to, "I carried it once into the U.S. and got caught." Changed the story about west to east. This is one thing that kind of makes me go, let me think about this. The gentleman in testifying's name is Daniel. Keep wanting to call him Dennis. Daniel said that he and Gabriel have been friends for 20 years or have been known each other for 20 years and worked in some of the same places. But he told them that Gabriel did not know that Daniel was going to try and cross the border that day, nor did he know that Gabriel was. They just so happened to show up at the same time and date place, set up by the handler, or I call them coyotes. Some people call them handlers or guides or whatever you want to call them. So they were both surprised. I tend to not believe that. I would venture to bet that they tried to cross together. That is something that a lot of people do, is they try to cross with people they know. And so that's my humble opinion. I need to get a shirt that said, "My humble opinion." MHO, my humble opinion. Now, when asked, and I'm sorry about my nose, y'all, but this is allergy season. When asked, did Gabriel have a radio on him? He said he didn't see one. Hold on. I'm having it all today. He did say he had a phone. Daniel did. He said he didn't know if, let's see. So Daniel had the phone. Did not know if Gabriel had a phone. He said no, then he said not sure. He said he did not see a radio nor did not know if he had one. Those are pretty obvious. He also said he did not see binoculars. Man, it's hitting me hard. Someone kind of said in comments, well, you would have seen binoculars. No, not really. Some of them are small and compact. You could put them in the fanny pack. So we could have had the radio and binoculars in the fanny pack. And that brings me to the next question. He was asked if Gabriel was carrying a backpack. He said yes. They asked if he had any other thing, like another backpack, fanny pack, whatever. He said he didn't know. He didn't see one. Now, come on. That's very obvious. And in the photos on Gabriel's phone, there were pictures with him with what he had on when he was deceased, with a fanny pack across the front of his body. That would be something that you would be able to see. Excuse me. One of the questions is how did they know Border Patrol was chasing them? He stated that the person who was El Charro, who was their guide. Now, earlier he said he didn't know the guy's name. I'll go take care of this in a minute. Earlier he said he didn't know the guy's name. Now he's El Charro. He didn't know if El Charro had binoculars or a radio on him. So they asked about the when the situation of them running from Border Patrol. He stated El Charro said Border Patrol, and they could hear a car, and they scattered. So technically, he did not see Border Patrol at all. And that's where we stop. So we're going to take our break. We'll be back approximately 3:30 our time, 1:30 their time for the afternoon session. In the meantime, y'all have an awesome afternoon. I will see you back here in a wee bit. I'm going to go take care of these allergies and take care of some paperwork, and I shall return. Until then,